Hi! We just watched Happiness by Todd Solondz.
Yes, we did.
How to begin talking about happiness?
Yeah.
Happiness is something that all of us as individuals seek, but as this film shows, we try.
I have a recommendation.
Oh, we're starting with this?
Yeah.
All right, go.
Avenue Q.
Visitor Q.
At Visitor Q? Seriously?
Visitor Q for me.
No.
In the way it's uncomfortable. No. Yes.
Visitor Q is a completely different beast.
It is a very different beast, but if you find pleasure in an experience like happiness...
I disagree. I highly disagree. That's a very different kind of film.
It is a very different kind of film. But it makes you feel somewhat equally uncomfortable. The way the depths it goes, Visitor Q might be more graphic, but happiness might be less graphic in many ways. But I think the feeling of discomfort in both films,
okay, I can see that now.
yeah, is similar.
Okay, fine.
Yep. Hey, if you've seen Happiness, I don't know if you can stand Visitor Q, but there's my recommendation. Avenue Q.
Avenue Q. Okay, so this film is a satire on happiness.
Yes.
That's the best way to put it.
Yes.
And it also, poses the question, gosh, I don't even know, what does it mean to be sick? What does it mean to be...
Not sick in, physical
Yeah, not physical
ailment,
sick, mentally sick, right?
Yeah.
And...
We're kind of in shock right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry this is kind of quiet. But...
It's just really hard to think intelligently about this film, because, it's... Okay, you know something I haven't seen, but that the music reminds me of?
What?
Is, The Sunshine Show. That's not what it's called. What is it called?
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I don't know the show itself, but I know the meme of how the show ends.
Oh.
It very much gives me that tone.
Really?
This music is scored with,
It feels like a sitcom.
It feels like a sitcom.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yet...
It feels like almost stock music-y.
Yeah.
But it's used here perfectly.
Yes.
Because...
Yes.
There's a ironic tone to it.
This is... Yeah, that's one reason why I thought to bring in Avenue Q. Because it's it has so much irony wrapped around it, but yet it's still attempting to use that irony to tackle really difficult issues about what it means to be happy.
Right? And I think that's what sets it apart from a film that's just trying to do shock value, aka Visitor Q.
That's why I thought Visitor Q was just a really weird recommendation, because that's mostly just a shock value
That's
film.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. However, I'm gonna still recommend it.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, I think I have read reviews of this film long ago, because this film has always been on my watch list, and some people don't see the substance underneath it, but I totally see the substance underneath it.
So I mean, it's very easy. You can see this film and not see the substance. I can get that because it's so smiley. That's a bad way to put it.
Smiley.
It's so parodic.
Parodic.
Well, it's so. There's so much satire here.
There's so much satire, but for those who just get uncomfortable with subjects like this,
oh boy,
they might not even see the satire. They might just see it as an extremely uncomfortable experience.
Yeah.
And it's like someone who's not used to violence seeing Kill Bill or something that's extremely violent.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Yeah, they might. Oh yeah. Where were we? Do we need to cut this?
I don't even...
Yeah.
I know, we're not cutting this.
Really?
It would be detrimental to this film if we cut this.
Okay.
Because, it's exactly this kind of awkwardness that the film sort of, captures.
Yeah.
So it's more than appropriate that we make a review like this, or we're just equally as awkward,
right, everything the film does adds to the mood. And I think, this is an anthology film where it follows separate characters in the shortcuts.
Shortcuts. Yeah, we just watched Shortcuts. If you have, by any chance, have seen Shortcuts, watch this, because
Oh, I think it's way stronger.
Yeah, this is way stronger
Mm-hmm.
than Shortcuts.
What's another film like Magnolia? But those are different. Those do very different things.
Yeah.
I like Happiness more. This could be an all-timer for me.
Like a one in your top somewheres?
Top very high somewheres.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 5 stars for me.
Yeah, it's 5 stars for me
Yeah,
too.
because this is definitely something special.
It's something very special.
Because I've never seen anything like this.
Yeah.
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 Oh! It reminds me a lot of Lanthimos.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's
especially
like,
Dogtooth.
It's like if there were American Lanthimos who just thought differently. That's this film.
And whose dialogue isn't as stubbornly dry as Lanthimos is.
Yeah,
where the people act more like humans. Yeah.
But like they're like more cartoonish humans than like dead humans.
Oh, I guess you're right. But that's what the film does so well for me.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the things that the characters do, you know, any lesser director or scriptwriter would make it seem much more ludicrous and not believable. But the way things build up in this film...
This film has so much tension.
It's tense, and you believe it. It never takes you out of the realm of believability. Like, there was one moment where I'm like, wow, this is so absurd. But I'm believing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still invested. You know, it's not like...
Yeah, it feels like it felt right to be invested because all of the characters' choices made sense.
Yeah.
Like, even though they were maybe doing these horrible things, it was always completely clear why they did them.
It's completely why they did them. It's completely clear why they chose a specific moment to talk to people about it. Yes, because not only do we see things being done, we also hear people talk about it to others and their thought process. And I think it's very good writing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because apparently I don't know if Welcome to the Dollhouse is as good, but I know that like his most recent film, Wiener Dog, which explores similar issues, but a little differently, apparently it's not nearly as good, but equally as uncomfortable. So I don't know if I'm down to see that. No. I don't know. I don't know if I have another Happiness in me. That's apparently not as poignant. Because there are issues that like... Oh, we can't talk about it without
not without spoilers. Not without spoilers, yeah.
I would recommend Punch Drunk Love.
Huh. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Because of what some of Adam Sandler's character goes through and his awkwardness. Yeah, Punch Drunk Love. I had a list of recommendations that not Train Spotting. I thought maybe Train Spotting, but that's a very different type of discomfort. That's very much gross out. King of Comedy, maybe. King of Comedy is a Scorsese film where Robert De Niro plays someone that just doesn't know the social cues, and so he makes everyone else feel awkward, and the amount of discomfort kind of feels.
A film that comes to mind. This isn't really all that similar, but as good as it gets.
Oh, yes.
A little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
It's not.
Jack Nicholson.
It has the same setting.
It has
like
the same
people
setting.
in an apartment.
Yeah.
Who kind of know each other.
Right.
And
but that one focuses on Jack Nicholson's character mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because he's the one with the issues. And yeah, it's his character that goes through. I think that's a little sappy. It goes to very sappy places.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a bad recommendation. Jack Nicholson's always great, always charming. I mean, Philip Seymour Hoffman's character in this movie, it just kind of reminds me of Synecdoche, but those two films are very different. But he very much plays that same guy.
Oh.
Anomalisa?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Anomalisa. That's an interesting comparison.
It's a very interesting comparison.
Yeah, because they kind of deal with the same subject matter, even though they're...
Oh, man, once we get to spoilers, we're going to want to spoil all these other films. And we're going to have to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because those aren't films that everyone has seen.
Yeah.
It's not like spoiling... what did we spoil yesterday?
We spoiled Emperor's New Groove.
We just spoiled Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Ugh. If you like anthology films, watch it. I don't even want to talk about the ending. But
Am I allowed to say that this may be one of my favorite endings in film ever?
yeah.
Without
Yeah.
saying what it is?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you already said it, so hey. No, you're not allowed to say. Take that back. It's great. It's wonderful in its own way.
Yeah.
You will question why you pressed play very soon after you start this movie.
Yes. Oh, don't watch this with your family.
Yeah.
Watch it with older people. It's rated NC-17 for a reason.
Watch it with older people. No, they're gonna like watch it with like.
I mean, if your family is the kind of family who watches like really intense movies anyway, I mean, sure.
Not like
but,
this.
But like this.
This is not.
Just know that this is very intense.
And it deals with family too.
It deals with family
in a way that's not. Yeah. I wouldn't want to watch it with my dad, and we can watch intense movies together.
Yeah, I would never watch this with my mother.
Oh, of course.
She would never want to watch something like this anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, wow, what a special film.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you know the poster of this movie, it's like all of them drawn in cartoons.
Mm-hmm. It's perfect.
It is perfect. It's exactly what it is. That being said, we're not going to recommend Pee-wee this time.
No.
So, speaking of real-life cartoons.
Pee-wee has nothing to do with this.
No. I do have to say the film feels lesser than its runtime. It feels fast. Even though we had to
It's because it's so engaging.
It's very engaging.
It's like from the very first scene.
Mm-hmm.
The very, very first scene. It immediately hooks you.
Mm-hmm.
It's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like if you're on the fence of watching this film, watch the first scene.
I forget what the first scene is, but I guess we'll go into spoilers.
Oh, you remember? Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell you soon.
Yeah, I forgot what the first scene is.
It's a good scene.
Every scene in this film is a good scene.
Yes, every scene in this film is a really good scene.
Yeah.
Which is impressive because it's like a 2.5 hour film.
I think there's one story that's lesser, and I wish I could have seen what exactly happens.
Yeah, some things are a little lesser developed than others.
Yeah.
And the balance of the stories are also kind of weird. But I mean, that's just asymmetric writing.
Well, I think compared to other anthology films, this is one that does it very successfully.
Yes.
So, like, I can't complain.
Yes.
I haven't seen many that do it this well. By anthology films, there are two types of anthology films. There are the ones that, like, tell separate stories individually. It tells one before moving on completely to the next one. This film, as an anthology film, is one where the character stories kind of intertwine. Mm-hmm. So you would get part of this one character story, and then you would cut to another one. Speaking of that, I don't think this film does a lot of... You remember what we talked about with Only Yesterday? The build up to a specific moment, and then cut. I think this film might have done that. So what we talked about yesterday was there are so many films where they would interweave two stories together, and they would always cut one of them when things are getting so intense, and they cut it exactly at the point of most intensity, so that you're left wondering, oh, what happens there? It makes you want to go back.
This film kind of does that, but it's a situation where it cuts off. And you want it to cut off because
exactly. Oh,
because it's like, oh God, I know what's gonna happen next, and something else happens, and it's either like the next day or something, and or like time has passed, and
right. Few films make you want to not see what happens next.
Yeah.
When it cuts off, sometimes I feel relief. I'm like, oh, thank goodness. I can wait 10 to 15 minutes before I actually see what happens.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I think there were many times where I knew where a certain storyline was going to go. It still managed to throw a couple of curveballs.
I had assumptions of how it was going to end that were not fulfilled.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, but were they fulfilled for you?
No, well, okay. One particular storyline I've seen a couple of scenes of.
Oh, I see.
So I know one of the storylines pretty well. That being said, yeah, I'll talk about that in the spoiler section. Okay. How there's this one video on YouTube that specifically splices 3 scenes.
I might know what you're talking about. But
no, it's very odd choices.
Okay.
But Anything else we want to mention?
I don't think so.
Okay. Let's go into spoilers.
Yeah, spoiler time. So the first scene is where he's that date.
Oh,
the
yeah.
guy
Oh,
committed
my
suicide.
gosh. Yeah. Oh, and the movie is makes you think that Pedro is that guy at first. Because they talk about Pedro, the doorman, and then they immediately cut to the other dude, like,
Oh, I didn't
committing
make that
suicide.
assumption.
Really?
Well, they said something about his penis.
Yeah.
And I that didn't...
Oh, well, they didn't show. I thought they were just being subtle. I don't know. I mean, this movie isn't subtle. But, like, that was a thing where, you know, it was supposed to be a clever cut. Where, like, it goes from one dead, dark-skinned man to another dead, dark-skinned man.
He wasn't dark-skinned, though. He was white.
He wasn't that... Well, I don't know.
He looked white to me.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He looked like a Jewish... Like a Jew, dark-skinned Jew.
Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't have considered that.
Like a Polly from Goodfellas, sort of.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I guess I'm just speaking literally that his skin was darker. But,
Okay. Yeah, like, he wasn't black, obviously.
No, he wasn't black. And I don't think he was Hispanic either at all. Yeah, okay. So the scenes I knew, it's very odd. I knew the first scene where the son asks the dad about coming.
Uh-huh.
I knew the scene where he reveals that he fucked them. But nothing in between. So there's this YouTube video that's like, oh, the most awkward moment in happiness. And I had this other film friend who apparently is okay with spoilers. Or he was spoiled this, like, ahead of time. He's like, yeah, you gotta see this.
Oh my god.
I think he went in thinking, like, he's never gonna watch it. So why would Kevin want to watch it? So there's that scene. There's the scene where he tells him that they fucked them. And then there's the last scene where he comes. So I didn't know that was the very last scene in the movie.
That's... Oh, really?
Yeah, so only the first scene gave me the same effect that it did in the YouTube video. The second scene I thought was going to be the very next scene where he's like, we're like, they're going to keep, you know, all the pedophilia stuff like kind of undercover, and then he's just going to suddenly reveal it to his son. But no, we see everything in between. And so when that scene came, I barely could recognize it.
Oh, wow.
First of all, I know who Johnny and the other dude are now. They're not just two random names like when I saw the YouTube video. Yeah. And the last scene, obviously, like, the context is entirely different when you know it's like the final scene in the movie. And you know that they've already abandoned, they've abandoned their dad, and so when he comes, the first person he thinks of is his dad. Is his pedophilic dad.
Oh my god.
Like, it was gross enough on the surface to see the dog, and yeah, you see the mother kissing it. But, like, now it's just so much dirtier.
Yeah.
Yeah, so much dirtier with the context.
Yeah.
But speaking of the ending, yeah, I was going to say that in terms of anthology films as endings, I think could be one of the strongest ones.
Oh, yeah, because it's the only time when all of the characters are together. Right?
Yep.
Except for, like, Philip Seymour Hoffman, but he gets mentioned.
He gets mentioned.
And, like, he's obviously going to hook up with what's her name, Joy.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen.
No, we don't.
Maybe Joy, yeah. Who knows? Joy's a changed woman by that point.
Yeah, it seems
like she kind of grew she kind of grew more of a backbone. And, yeah.
Yeah,
she's much stronger.
She went through a lot of change, it seemed like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or did she? I mean, her arc ended with, like, her kind of giving in to that guy, but also, like, confronting him at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Well, she gave in to him, and then she saw him for who he really was.
Yeah.
And then, you know, it started out as an act of kindness to, like, apologize to who she thought was his wife.
Right.
But it turns out to be just someone. And then the dude's, like, taking advantage of her in, like, money-wise. And then she's just like, no, sorry. And the way she did it was very her. It wasn't like she flipped, where she started screaming. She just kind of left. And she's very introverted, so she's like learning things. You can see her, like, having an epiphany at the moment. She just leaves him. And I thought that was really nice. Yeah. So I don't know what happens with her and Philip Seymour Hoffman. Also, is it Cynthia, the other girl? Christina.
The author chick?
No. Christina's the...
Oh, the serial killer.
Yes.
Or
yes.
The
Pedro killer.
Pedro killer.
Yeah, Pedro killer gets mentioned too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, at the very end.
Yeah.
So that's nice. nice, genitalia, and like baggies. That's how we relate. We can all relate to this story.
That character I wish had been developed more. Because she felt...
Christina?
No, not Christina. The artist woman.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Huh.
Like, I felt like she didn't get a lot of screen time.
I thought she was okay.
Yeah.
The author woman?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think the satire on her part was so strong with every scene that she's in.
Yeah, okay.
Where, like, you see what she's writing is, like, rape at 11 and rape at 12.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. And I forgot what the previous scene was before we see that, but, like, that cut was super jarring. It's like something happened, then we see rape at 11, rape at 12.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
like, what is this? What is the context of this?
Yeah.
Why are we reading this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I love the scene where Philip Seymour Hoffman's, like, his hand moves. That's just
And the music cuts.
amazing.
This is
Yeah.
not working.
I was thinking it was gonna go either. It was either gonna cut because the music has cut abruptly before.
Uh-huh.
I was thinking it could go either way.
Yeah.
And one of the ways were fulfilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, like one of them got fulfilled. So I'm like, I can't complain.
Mm.
It was good. Yeah. Yeah, I thought Philip Seymour Hoffman's arc was kind of interesting too.
Yeah. Yeah. This was...
Like he went
is very
from
interesting, yeah.
weird sex phone dude to like a guy who could offer sympathy to Christina and
Yeah.
a guy who could, who enjoyed her companionship in a way. Like how sweet it is that like they're two people sleeping back facing each other, and it's like the sweetest scene in the entire film.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
so great.
Yeah, that was like the most human connection it seemed like in any of the
Yeah.
any of the encounters per se.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'd say so. I do think that Christina's reveal of like her murdering Pedro was the most left field revelation out of all of them.
Yes.
Because they were at the diner. They just danced. You think that they're just gonna, they're gonna finally.
Yeah,
they're
like
gonna
she
be
says,
nice to each
she
other.
says, "I have a confession."
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you have a crush on him. No, I murdered a guy.
Yep. That's great.
Yeah.
It's great that she murdered a guy. It's wonderful. Also, there's like the sister, especially the. Was it the artist sister? The artist sister's the one
The
that's really
suburban
snarky.
mom.
The suburban mom. Oh man, the way she's like jealous of everyone.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, man, I think that's something that's explored just enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's like we see two scenes where that happens, and that's all we need. Where like that, yeah, that the message is hit really clear. Pedophilia. How'd you feel?
Man.
How'd you feel about? Because I've seen certain scenes. How was that whole arc for you?
It was very uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
Like. Because like it's so taboo to talk about that in film.
Yeah.
So taboo.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what to say about it. Like.
You're right. Well, it
Because
gets...
the way this film portrays it is almost in a sympathetic way, which
Almost.
it's almost in a sympathetic way, right?
I guess it is, because the film's message is that, we all cope, sort of. We all try to find happiness in our own way.
Right.
And it's just... I mean, it's an unflinching lens, but it is kind of a sympathetic lens.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, this is very different from, like, if Hanukkah were to explore the issue.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like, it would be very, very cold and, like, unsympathetic.
Yeah, it wouldn't really come with a message, per se, with Hanukkah. Because that's not really his style.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, because he's not the sort of filmmaker to, like, push an agenda, but rather just to, like, show reality.
Could you recommend funny games?
For this film?
Yeah. Doesn't discomfort. Maybe not. No.
I mean, if you like discomforting experiences in general, Hanukkah's like a good way to go.
Course.
But it's a
general.
completely different style of filmmaking.
Right. I'd say so.
Like I mean, come to think of it, Funny Games is kind of a satire, but not at all like this.
No,
Funny Games is
satire is different things too.
Funny Games is a satire on the genre.
Yes.
Of sort of like the exploitation horror genre.
The exploitation.
Yeah. This is a satire on human consciousness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. What else can we say?
Um,
There's not much we can say.
the brief mentions of homosexuality in this film, and the potential like parallels to pedophilia in this film
Mm-hmm.
are kind of weird.
Well, there's the coach dad.
Yeah.
Who's like just very uncomfortable.
Well, like who? Yeah.
And very, very conservative, and he just made that whole plot even more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And the fact that at the end he was the one who called and said like you're a dead man, and then after that you see the police, that just made the whole thing more tense.
And then he gets the name wrong.
He did, because he does get the name wrong. Yeah. I liked how we never see the other boy.
Oh my god, you're right.
Yeah.
It's evil.
It is very evil. It's very
Evil.
disturbing.
Yeah.
It's like for all the stuff that it shows, there are things that it doesn't show, and it's just like hidden. Can we recommend Cold Fish? No. There's just an odd parallel. Yeah, it's nothing like it.
Something like this.
Yeah. No. Cold Fish is the Gianzono film.
If you're gonna recommend Cold Fish, you may as well recommend like Hausu or something.
Why would I recommend House?
That's the thing. Is like, there's no comparison.
There's comparison with Cold Fish. Cold Fish makes you uncomfortable.
Well, yeah, but not like this.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, for someone who's not into film that much, Love Exposure could be a similar experience.
Really?
So, like, think of how Love Exposure makes you uncomfortable, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, it's not nearly this
intense.
intense.
That's a good point.
But it does sort of, like, push, like, what's sort of, like, standardly, like, taboo.
Uh-huh.
And, like, it's trying to explore that.
Yeah.
In a Japanese context.
Yeah. Maybe Love Exposure.
Yeah, maybe Love Exposure.
You should just watch Love Exposure in general.
Well, that's always on a recommendation from us. I mean, look at our poster.
Yep. I love how we're just giving recommendations because we can't talk about.
Yeah, this is so hard to talk about and like
Yeah.
really go into depth about
Yeah.
this film just because it's so sticky.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if that's a thing. Like, if you show "come" on in a
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
If you show semen,
you get an NC-17 rating.
I think it's also the pedophilia.
Yeah.
That's more likely.
Yeah.
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 They go far. They talk about a kid like having blood in his bowel movement.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
They go there.
Yeah, like they don't
They're
show
not
it, but they like
afraid.
show him looking in the toilet.
Yeah, they're
Like,
not afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. This film never got visually graphic.
No.
The only times, like, you see a little nudity sometimes, and you see like you know the semen.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it's all just tension.
Yeah.
Which is very impressive because
Mhm.
usually, like a film's like easy way out is to go for the visual shock value.
Yeah. The
Like-
closest.
like Visitor Q.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the closest it comes to full-on violence is the flashback where Christina like kind of snaps the neck. But that's like.
Well, there's
very
also the
tame.
shooting scene, but like that's so desensitized.
Oh, that's a weird dream.
Yeah, but that's so desensitized.
Like, I
Violence is so
knew it was
desensitized.
fake.
Yeah.
I knew it was fake the moment it started.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's one of those things.
Mm.
Yeah, it just seems so cartoonish. That shooting scene particularly. Yeah. Yeah. Even like Philip Seymour Hoffman's phone call is like just saying like rape. And you see how he gets more and more daring with his phone calls. Of what he says before hanging up. Yeah. Yeah, in the end we're all trying to find happiness while not pissing everyone that's close to us off, and trying to find connections as well. That's the moral of the story.
I guess so.
That's it.
Yeah.
Mark, do you have any confessions to make?
No. Except for like the last roommate, you know, who was in the freezer now.
Oh,
You remember him?
that's what happened to him?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Hey, I got breakfast tomorrow. I want breakfast.
Yeah. You know, the stakes has always been so good.
Stakes are high.
Yeah. I don't even know anymore.
Wow. Well, we've stalled enough at this point.
Okay, yeah.
We should just end this video.
Let's just end this.
Bye.
Bye.